Missed it. Okay, happy Tuesday. We're stoked that you're here with us today. Let's just be real, like we're not stoked. Marissa and I are leading tonight. We are not stoked that we are at our houses right now, because if you have been around the Plexus land, all the jewels are in Mexico right now. And yes, we are jewels, and no, we are not there. And so we're just gonna like lay it on the line for you guys tonight, because if you were at convention and heard John Maxwell talking, he talked a lot about failure, right? And how it's not talked about enough. So Marissa and I both try really hard to portray ourselves as very successful people, right? So like if you were leading up to this trip, you probably maybe would have assumed that like we would be on this trip. And yet neither one of us are. And so just really like to clear the water, in order to earn the Mexico or Hawaii or whatever trip, the first time that you rank emerald, sapphire, or diamond, you automatically earn it. Okay, so I'll share about my journey in a little bit, but the first year that you rank it, you automatically earn it, which is so awesome. And then the next contest period, you have to re-rank your rank, emerald, sapphire, or diamond, 5 months out of the contest period. Okay. And so that's why we're not there. We didn't do it. So let's just start with a little bit of my emerald journey. Obviously, I'm Katie Burns, even if you don't know me. I'm Emerald. And Marissa Almond is going to be sharing with me tonight, and she's also Emerald. She's my level 1. And so I went Emerald. Well, let's go back. Let's go back a teeny bit. Okay. I started in 2019, and I like put my products on a credit card. I was like not going to do this kind of thing, you know, right? But I decided to start sharing, and I went silver, senior silver, and gold very quickly, all on my own, all by my own recruiting, all just doing my own thing. And I really was like incentive driven. So there was a gold retreat that I wanted to go to in Arizona. And so that's why I made sure that I was gold in that time frame. And I just recruited my way to gold. So I had recruited my own personal, at that time I needed 20. I had recruited 20 people to gold. And am I a robot? Okay. I felt like my voice come back to me, and I was like, am I a robot? Sorry. After I went gold, this is where my first shift started to happen. So I went gold, and then I didn't re-rank gold for like 6 months. And that would have been a really easy time for me to like give up, right? Like that, gold was like paying for my products, like, but not much more, my whole family was on products. But instead I was like, you know what? I'm going to work to raise my leadership lid here, because I know that I will recruit people that want this business. And so why don't I just spend this time to pour into myself and to pour into my own leadership skills, so that when I recruit people that are actually ready for this business, I'm ready for them. Like I'm ready to accept them, and I know how to lead them. I know the kind of culture that I want to bring them into, right? And so in enters Marissa, who I didn't know beforehand. We didn't know each other at all. We had never met. We didn't even meet till after, like, I think you were Emerald when we met, or like Senior Ruby when we met, which is crazy. And when she came on board, her perception of me as a leader was that I'd been doing this, like, I know exactly what I'm doing. Like I was saying, oh, we do events. Oh, we do this. Oh, we do that. This was the first time that I had done any of those things. But Marissa didn't know that, because I was very confident about the kind of way that I wanted to raise up leaders on my team, and the kind of culture that I wanted to develop on my team. And so when Marissa came on board, she came on board with her level 1, Carly, and we moved very quickly. So I had gone gold in September of 2019, and then I went senior gold, ruby, and senior ruby in back-to-back months of the following year. So it was August, July, and then September that we went senior gold, ruby, and senior ruby. So like a whole year later, right? And that was like a crazy fast season of momentum. I don't even know what was happening. It was like Tickle Me Elmo flying off the shelves. I don't know, like I couldn't, like, I mean, it was some of you are looking at me like, what's Tickle Me Elmo? You're really young, probably. It's okay. You're cute. So, I mean, there were no, like, even though I had these things created in my mind, there was no systems in place. Like, I mean, everything was just like flying out the window. But one thing that was happening consistently was this little teeny tiny piece of duplication, which worked so well for our team, and everybody did it. Every single person that we got started with products, we're like, oh, we hold an event for you. Like, that's a perk of what happens when you get started. So we were doing like 5 to 6 events a week for people. But that's what I had done with Marissa. So she was like, yep, let's do this. That's what we had done for Carly. So she was like, yep, let's do this. And so
sorry, Katie, I was just going to interrupt you for just a second right there, because I think what you just said is huge, because that's exactly what you did for me. The verbiage was everybody that gets started with me, I host an event for you. It's just what we do. Does Tuesday or Thursday work best for you? It was like, I cannot forget those words, because what happened was I then did the same thing with every single person. And then I taught Carly, well, you and I taught Carly, because I didn't really know what I was doing. You and I taught Carly to do the same thing. And it trickled down to so many people that are even still on this call today that we did the same thing for. And so anyway, just that whole piece of being confident and letting it trickle down, and duplication like changed everything for the way that when I showed up, my business was affected, and then everybody else that came along with that. So
yeah. And that period of time when we went back to back months, I mean, that was growing from like 110 points to 787 in 90 days. Like that span of points, and that was literally because we were popping up silvers and senior silvers like we were adding VIPs. It was just how it was, and that was fun, and that was exciting. I love celebrating people, and I love like incentivizing people. And so, for me, it was like, okay, go senior silver, and then I'm going to send you this fun prize, right? Like that's just my love language in this business. And so it was so fun. Like I was blossoming. It was so fun. And then after we went senior ruby, we just kind of like stalled out. Like it was the first time that things slowed down. And again, that would have been a really easy time for me to be like, okay, like senior ruby, I'm making like a really good paycheck. I was still working full time in the classroom. So like, this is a fun amount of money. Like I could be done here. I could be happy with this, but instead I had to like dig my heels in and be like, this is when I really first sat down and thought, what could this look like if like I did go to the top? Like, why couldn't I go to the top? Why, like, look around at all these like people. Why could I not be just like them? What if it looked like I bought us a house like in Santa Cruz? Like, what could that look like for our family? At that time, it was never about like, what could it look like if I quit my job? Because I just didn't see that. Like, I just thought I'd always be teaching. Like, I didn't ever see that, but I could see like, what if I did have this third income, right? And so that gap between senior ruby and emerald was very much filled with me casting vision for myself, and especially for my spouse, for my husband, because he, at this time, like in the crazy momentum season, it was kind of like, he would get home from work and like I would trade the kids and go and like bust out work, right? And so like he was kind of like, I don't know if I like this plexus thing, because like for the last 90 days, like all you've done is plexus, right? And I'm like, but we're growing and it's so fun and it's exciting, And so for me, like the growth that happened between senior ruby and emerald was, I am capable of managing this a little bit better. And even though I do want to plexus all the time, like putting it down sometimes and doing family, and doing, I almost said anyways, okay. Never mind. Hanging out with my husband and like having intentional time with my kids and things like that, right? And so that was a big shift for me. Between senior ruby and emerald. And then we went emerald in March of 2021. So that meant, yay, we qualified for the trip that year. That year it was in Mayakoba. I got to take my husband. I had no idea what to expect, and it blew me out of the water. That was actually my first corporate plexus trip because of COVID, right? So that was the first experience I ever had. And you like get on these beach cruisers and you bike to the beach to get to like the welcome party. And I was like floored. And I would like remember whispering to Chandler and Taylor, like, are all of these drinks free? And like, is all of this, like, are all of these churros and like the sushi bar, and like, is all of this stuff free? Like, we just get to, like, I mean, that's just not, I'm a teacher, like I'm like balling on a budget all the time. Right. And so it was just crazy. That trip was going Emerald. And then that trip was what like really sealed the deal for my husband, because he saw and heard so many different stories of success that he like was like, okay, I believe in this. Like, this could be a catalyst for massive change for our family. And so that was in March of 2021. And then the next contest period started in July. And we ranked exactly 5 times. We re-ranked Emerald in the next contest period. So we earned it the second year in a row, and we got to go to Hawaii. And that was in a really stressful time of my husband's life in terms of work. And so just being able to take him out of that and take him to Hawaii, it was also just an amazing trip. Marissa earned that trip that year. So it was fun, so fun to be there, like with someone else. That was always my vision, to bring somebody else. And so that was last year in September. And then we have not re-ranked Emerald at all since then. And in fact, our points have not done this beautiful like wave like this. They've just kind of done this, and then like a little, and then like this. It just feels like they're like going down, right? And that's okay. Like, that is okay, because that's how it's been. Like, that's how it went after I went gold. Like, that's just going to be how business works, right? And so the shift, the biggest like red light story that I was telling myself, and I know Marissa will dig into this a little more when she talks, but that I was telling myself and have been telling myself until maybe the last, honestly, 3 months or less, is that I can't control this Emerald re-rank and this growth. My team is too big now. Like, I can't touch all the people. I have a very deep team. So like, I can't do anything. Like, there's nothing I can do. It's like, if people work, they work. If they don't work, they don't work. And that obviously affects my points and my team, right? But what I have found is that like, I can 100% control my team and control the way that I want to grow my business back up as we rebuild. And I 100% can control the type of people that I recruit onto my team, and choose whether those people are going to be high caliber, big fish type people, or whether I am just settling like for the person who wants to try triplex for 90 days, right? There's a big difference there. And when I really dig in and tell myself about the last 6 months, I've been recruiting those people that are like, yeah, I want to do triplex for 90 days, because I've had this big block of like, can I lead another really strong leader? Like, can I do that again? Right. And so that just like puts a wall up. If you tell yourself like, I don't know if I can. And instead, I've been telling myself every single morning when I wake up that I'm a powerful leader, and that I have gifts that another powerful leader can learn from. Right. Like, and I see that all the time in all of you guys. Like, I learn things from lots of you guys all the time. And so just because I don't have another really strong leader like growing right now, that doesn't mean that I can't go do those things. And I have seen a shift in my business and in who I'm reaching out to and the way I'm reaching out to them since I've made that mindset shift. So I'm going to stop blabbing. But I want Marissa to share her story, but as she gets started, like, one of the really significant parts of Marissa's story that I think we can all take away from is the very, very, very beginning of her story. Like, as you were getting started, Marissa, and as how you were in your life versus how you showed up in Plexus from the jump. So share with us a little bit about your story.
All right. So many of you that see me now here as a part of this community in Plexus probably think that this is how I've always been, that I've been a confident person and a strong leader, and somebody who just commits to things and just like, will just do it. But that is not actually true. This has been actually a part of my journey and growth and growing as an adult for years and years and years, because I was actually incredibly shy in high school and had no self-confidence, literally zero. It makes me like, I can't even believe like somebody should have just punched me in the face is how I feel sometimes when I think about it, because it's like, oh my gosh. But so anyway, that is not who I've always been, but it's something that I have worked so hard at because I hated the way that I felt when I wasn't that confident person. I would look at these other girls. So I was a cheerleader in high school. So I would look at the other girls that I cheered with and think like, gosh, they're so confident. They don't care. They just like get goofy and silly and they dance and they don't care. But I would never do that in front of people. Like I would be like that at home with my sisters and like have a great time, but I would never, like that was not me in public with other people. And so it's always been something that I've wanted to grow into is like, I know that's me. I just have never really stepped into it enough to like, let me be that person. And so a huge driving factor when I met all of you actually on the first Zoom that I came on, if you were there, I cried because I was so excited that I was a part of a community where I was with other girls that I knew were going to bring that out in me. I knew I was in a place where I was going to be inspired every single day and that there was a chance for me to grab hold of the more that I always wanted. And I don't know if that resonates with any of you, but like it was massive for me. And so when at this point, I had already been on the products for maybe a month or two. I don't know. It was pretty early on, but I loved the products. And I was like, I feel good. Like, I just feel good. I don't even know how to explain it, but like, I need to tell my sisters and my mom, and I need to get my grandma on this. And I was just literally thinking of people in my life all the time that I was like, they need this. I don't know how it works. Everybody knows if you've been around me at all on the training, like don't ask me the science, don't ask me the details. I can go find it and send you a video, but I can't like give you the words. Okay. But I just know that it works. And I was so excited about the future of what the products were going to do for me, but also the future of like, this could be really cool. I was also a teacher, balling on a budget all the time. My husband is a coach and there's not a lot of money that comes in that until you hit like big things in coaching, and we're not at big things. And so anyway, I was like, this could be something really good for us. And I decided after I got off that Zoom call, I just decided, I was like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to be that girl. And I'm going to go inspire all of those other people that are just like me and the person that I was, that don't have the self-confidence, that don't have somebody being their best cheerleader, that don't have, you know, a champion in their life. And I'm going to help them realize that that can be them. And they can be that girl dancing in the kitchen. And they can be that girl that feels good every time they put on their clothes, regardless of what they look like. Like, I just wanted to be that. And I just decided that that was going to be me. And that was going to be my message. And that was the message that I put out every single day, loud and clear on all of my posts, on every time I talked in my stories. And I just went bold and I said, I'm going to do this and I'm going to stop people pleasing. And I don't care who sees this from my husband's network or from people that I teach with or people that knew me in high school that are like, hey, that's not the girl I remember. Like, I don't care. I didn't care what anybody else thought about what I was doing in that moment because I had already decided that this was what I was going to do. So that was the biggest shift, I think, and huge factor in what basically had us go from trying some products and telling my husband that I was going to do it for 30 days to basically going Fast Start Ruby. I think that that was the major groundwork right there. So there's that. But then from there, so obviously you guys heard through Katie's story, like we were duplicating, we were bringing on people, and like we were helping other people make a paycheck. And I was so inspired every single day by helping these people make the changes. I was like, oh my gosh, this is trickling down. Like, I can't believe the message I just got from so-and-so, and they feel so good and their skin is soft and like whatever, like all these things. I was so excited every single day to hear these messages from people. Or like, oh my gosh, I just, used this paycheck and we just bought groceries for the week. Like whatever. I was pumped like every single day. I was like, this is so cool. Like, how come nobody's doing, everybody should be doing this. Like, what are people doing? Like, get up. Like, that's how I felt, and then so we went Fast Start Ruby in October, and I'll never forget because it was Halloween day. And then we went, and that was 2020. And then we ranked to Senior Ruby March of 21. That's when Katie went Emerald. And so something about that. So we went Senior Ruby in March, but we actually pushed for Senior Ruby in February, and we didn't hit it. We missed it by like 10 orders or something, like too many for me to pull in on the last day. But, like I remember sitting on a Zoom with Katie, Taylor, and Jordan, and they're like, okay, 10 orders for you, like by yourself right now. Like, that's just like, let's just push for it in March. Like, and it was like in the last hours. It wasn't like we were talking about this the days before. And so I was like, you know what, this is fine. Like, because we were like, okay, truthfully, we could probably all just like go put in some orders and like make it happen. But I was like, no, we don't need to do that. Like, it's fine. We're going to go for it the next month. And I know it's going to happen because we're so close. It's fine. And then we did. Then in March, like midway through the month, we were hitting Senior Ruby points. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like, we kept that momentum going. So I didn't say, okay, February, we dropped it, we missed by 10 orders and there's just, like, we're just done. We didn't hit it. Like, no way. No. So if you're ever in that season where you're like, I'm pushing for something, we didn't hit it. Like, my biggest advice is like, just don't stop. Keep going, keep using the momentum that you already have on your side, and just stay in that consistent rotation of whatever you were doing was working. You grew. You may not have hit the goal, but you grew. So what actually ended up happening in March was we didn't only hit Senior Ruby points, we hit over 1,000 points in that month because we just kept going. And what was really cool was like, I could have said, okay, we hit 750, like hit the goal middle of the month. I added my 3 or whatever it was. I added my 3, like cashed in my goal. We're done closing the laptop. No. That's not though the team that I wanted. That was not the culture that I wanted. And I also knew that if we kept going, there was a possibility that it would push Katie to Emerald. And I was like, do that. Now that's my goal. We hit Senior Ruby. Now my goal is we're all going to go push Katie to Emerald. You didn't understand. But the cool thing was like, this was all still very new for so many of us. Like, I think, I don't know, you went Emerald in 21. Like, I wasn't even around for a year yet. And so all of the people on our team, like, were a part of that rank up, and we were creating that culture of like, okay, you don't hit the goal, that's fine. You keep pushing, and then you're going to rally for your team because you maybe hit your goals, but like, this isn't like a solo effort here. Like, we are one big team. And I saw that modeled for me when Jordan hit Diamond. Like, we were all working and we were all celebrating her go Diamond. And there wasn't one single ounce of like resentment or jealousy or comparison or any of that. It was all just excitement and encouragement and inspiration. And I knew, I was like, this is what I want. This is why I started this, was to inspire women and to help them create more in their life. Even if they're already happy where they are, if they have that little bit of something in their heart that says, there's more for me, then this is your place. And so we kept going, and it was so fun. We didn't even know. I don't know if Katie even touched on this. Did you touch on this? We didn't even know at the end of the night if Katie actually hit Emerald points. I think the VO was stuck at like 1495. Emerald is 1,500 points. And we were like, did she hit it? Did she hit it? We don't know. Nothing's going through. We're not sure. Refresh. Like, we didn't know. But we found out the next day, of course, like midday, I'm like messaging Katie a million times in the morning. I'm like, wake up. Did you hit Emerald? We were so excited and we didn't know, but it also didn't really matter at that point because we knew that what we just did was so fun and exhilarating. And it was everything that we wanted to create in this space. So whether she hit it or not was not really like, I mean, yeah, we would have been bummed if she didn't hit it, but it was like, it was the whole experience of it. So anyway, that was us going senior Ruby. And so after that, the next month, I actually did push. We're like, we're in so much momentum. Like, let's do this. Maybe we can go Emerald the next month. Like, it's 500 points. Like, whatever, let's do it, And we did not hit it, like not even close. We stayed like the same points, but I was okay with that. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like, we just pushed really hard for a couple months and everybody's kind of resting. But we're going to keep doing, like, we're not going to stop what we're doing. We're just going to like, get back to a regular pace because we can't sprint forever. Like, you just can't, like, that's just not possible. So I was like, okay, gives me some time to like, we clearly were like, our momentum just went, right? Like, everybody slowed way down. And so it gave me some time over the next year because really it took us a whole other year to then eventually hit Emerald. But during that season, I'm like, what is going on? Like, people were quitting and people were in and out of their business. There was a lot of start, stop going on. And I was just like, what's going on? Like, I need to fix some things. And it wasn't until I read the 5 levels of leadership and I was like, okay, this is me. Like, I've hit my lid. There's something going on. I need to fix some things. And I made a shift at that point. I was like, momentum is low. This gives me a great opportunity to fix up my systems. I'm going to fix some things. I'm going to tweak some things. I'm going to make it more like us because we were moving so fast for so long that nothing really was our own. We were just taking what was already created. And I felt like, I'm not really sure if this fits my team anymore. Like, I kind of want to make it fit us better. And so I changed up some things. We sort of ironed out some systems. And even after that, it still took a little while. We didn't really rev up momentum until we were in the month that I had already decided that we were going Emerald. And so literally going into March of 22, I was like, told my team we're going Emerald. And I'm like, I don't really know how we're going to do this. I'm just going to keep my blinders on. And I'm just going to do everything that I know that we've worked up to be able to do at this point. And that's what we did. I just kept my mind really strong. I relied on Katie and Taylor and Jordan a lot during that month of like, okay, we're still not on track for this goal. Don't give up. Like, what we're doing is going to work and we're going to catch speed. And if you were around for that, like, you were seeing a lot of countdowns and things. And at the same time, Kimmy was going to Emerald and Kimmy's team was well ahead of our team at that point. But I was like, this is good. I have some accountability. We're going to play off of each other. I'm not going to get down about, her being ahead of me. Like, I was just focused and I was like, I'm just going to be my best leader and do what I needed to do. And what happened though, in that season of like, I'm going to fix up some systems and things is I had to walk the line really close of like going into, I'm going to fix everything. Enneagram 1 over here. I'm going to fix everything. I'm going to make everything pretty and perfect and stop recruiting. No. I had to walk the line of like, I can do this during downtime where I typically would be doing things for my team, but not everybody needs me right now, but I'm still going to do my own personal IPA. So I was still recruiting. I was still doing my own things. And I was using that downtime that I typically would spend with my team to just fix things up. And so during this time, and really since the beginning, I just had told myself that this was what I was going to do. And I had decided, and I was okay with making swaps. I was okay with having no idea what's going on in The Bachelor anymore. Like, I was okay with that. I was okay with whatever, like just saying no to certain things so that I could focus on the big picture goal that I had, which was going Emerald. Um, and and I just committed to that. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna show up on the days, and I'm probably not gonna do everything that you know I would do every single day, but I'm going to do something. I'm going to do something every single day, whether that's just sending a couple messages or checking in with team. I just didn't stop, right? Because I think what happens is when you get in these slow seasons where you want to stop and start and stop and start, and then you lose focus of everything, right? And then you get into this like cycle of mindset stuff. But like I said, in March was the month that I said that this is gonna happen. And a lot of that was because I was pregnant at the time. And I knew that going Emerald before this baby boy arrived was a must. And I was going to figure out how it was going to happen. And I was just going to do everything that I could to make it happen, and inspire my team and help them and support them and whatever. So I worked a lot of hours, but we also went on like 3 vacations, I think, that month. It was really insane. We had people visiting from my dad and my nieces and nephews came and stayed with us for like a week. It wasn't like I only plexused. Like I lived life and was like very, very busy, but I also was just super committed to, I was super committed to like, these are my work hours and I'm going to still do this every single day. And lo and behold, it worked out. We went Emerald in March till the very last minute. And I think in like the last hour, we still needed like 40 orders or something, like a lot. But my team showed up in that hour. And I don't know how it all went down. I wasn't even really looking at the computer. I think I was crying most of the time. And we figured it out. But I think that a lot of that comes from, they were around when we did it with Katie. They were in, and we've created that culture of like, hey, somebody's working for something, like, let's all jump in. Katie ended up in the hospital the next day. Yes, it was intense. But it was so much fun. Now I kind of like lost my train of thought, but anyway, I was just so focused on the vision with Emerald. The numbers didn't line up. I didn't know how it was going to happen. And I was obviously stoked. We ended up getting the Lexus like 2 months before Mickey was born, which was perfect because there was no room, literally no room for him to fit in the Ford Fusion. Like we could not put a car seat anywhere. Like on the top was going to be the plan until we figured something out. So that was it. So I think that like so much of my journey has just been the decision. Like I just decided, and I just decided to get started. I just decided that we were gonna go Emerald in March without really knowing how it was going to happen. And truthfully, right now, that's the exact season that I'm in again right now. Because since we went Emerald, we re-ranked all the way up and through the new contest started to go to the next trip. Literally the last month was July and the contest began August 1, right? So so no re-ranking happened, but I was like, yes, we're on a roll. We're gonna like be able to earn, Emerald Extravaganza next year too, because we're like totally still re-ranking after hitting Emerald, which typically, honestly, isn't really something that happens for most people. Most people that I've talked to after they go Emerald, there's a dip because there's a lot of like one-time orders and things going in. But I thought, this is awesome. We've set up this team and like everybody's still growing and we're still re-ranking and whatever. And then we didn't. And so there was a lot of mindset stuff coming from that, because also we had gotten to the point where I wanted to get. And if you just watched my stories the other day, actually, I talked about this on Instagram on my stories, because we got to the point where I always wanted to be. I wanted to hit Emerald. We wanted to hit the Lexus. We wanted to earn the trip. We wanted to be able to have me stay home with my kids, and thank goodness for that, because since then we moved 2 more times. Mickey Boy has lived in 3 states and he's just over 1 year old. So like when I say that, you know, I just feel like so much of what came to me during that time was setting us up for where we are now. And I didn't really know it, but I had so much of a drive inside of me to just commit to doing it. And even now, like it took me some time to like figure out, okay, like we're at where we always wanted to be. Like now what's my vision? Like I always envisioned going diamond, but it sounds so weird, but it was really hard to figure out like what does that look like now that we're here, if that makes sense. Not that we're at diamond, but like now that we're living the life that like I envisioned then, like what does it look like to move past that? And it was tough. Like Katie's gotten a lot of messages from me over the last year, like figuring it out. And I just had to really lean into that and not be afraid to feel the feelings and then take action, even if I didn't really know what that next action needed to be. And when I found that that next action wasn't really working, being able to pivot and try something different. And so up until honestly just recently, I feel like I've figured out what that is and I've committed. I'm like, okay, here's the decision. The decision is made. Changed my hair color, did some things. I said, okay, decision is made. We're moving on from whatever this was. We're moving on because the vision is clear. And I think sometimes it just takes that. And I don't think I would have gotten to that point if I didn't let myself roll around in the mud a little bit. And there's been a lot of times where, you know, when you're in that space where you can feel like, oh, it's just not for me. I'm just going to be right here, or I'm just going to stop for a little while. It's just not a good time during my season. Like, it's just not a good time to work my business. I just had a baby, or I just moved, or my husband just lost his job. I need to like figure something out. Literally all of those things have happened over the last year for me. And I just decided that I'm not going to stop and I'm not going to quit. And that's my choice. And so everybody has choices every single day. And I think that like us sharing our journey is just helping you to realize that, or just validate the feelings that you may have about rebuilding. Because basically when you can decide to stick around and keep doing the things through a rebuilding season, that's when you're actually committing to having a business. Because anybody can commit to having a business when it's all beautiful and growing and fast and furious and exciting. But when it's hard and when you're not growing, or when, you know, life is coming at you really hard and you're still choosing that hard, that's when you know that you are committed to having a business, treating this like a business, and being committed to being paid like you have a business in the future. So
yeah. And I think, Marissa, you said something, well, you said a million amazing things, but something you said to me earlier today, was it just about like, you said we all have a choice, and it is like, you're going to fail, like you're going to fall flat on your face a lot of times. And that's part of business. But it's like, what do you do when you fail? Do you let that create shame and define who you are and be like, did I just like wallow in the mud of like, oh, well, like that sucks. I'm not in Mexico. I suck. Everyone hates me. Like, no, because first of all, the people outside of the Plexus world have absolutely no idea. Like it doesn't define us at all. Right. And so instead it was like, that actually inspired me. Like I reached out to some extremely big fish since those girls have been in Mexico. I can tell you what, because it inspired me to be like, no, there's no way I'm going to miss this trip again. Like period, the end, like big fat period, the end. And so you have that choice. Like when you fail or when you lose rank or when whatever, you know, someone like I have an entire leader leg that no longer works this business with me at all. And like, do I let that define me? No. Like I say, like, I'm going to use that and use that as an inspiring action, and use that to inspire me to go get into action and to go get into activity, because I want a new leader leg. Like I want 5 new leader legs. And so rather than saying, yes, this defines me, I'm shameful. Like we get to decide what creates shame in our bodies, like in our minds and in our bodies. Like nothing about like your Plexus business is allowed to like create so much shame that it causes you to stop working your business. Like that's just silly. If you take a step back, you're like, seriously, like that's just so silly. Whether your paycheck is $30 a month or $3,000 a month or $30,000 a month, like nothing can tell you like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. Like, no, just say, I'm not going to let that define me. I'm going to use this as an inspiration to get into action. And so the other thing that you need to focus in on when you're in these seasons of failure is like, what can I do right in this moment right now? Like, no, I can't go like lead a big team call if like I don't have a team right now, right? But like, what can I do? What am I in control of? And you'll hear this, you've probably heard this 1,000 times, but when your team is not in momentum, like go be your team's biggest runner. Like go be your highest recruiter, go be your highest duplicator, go be your best retainer, like go do all the things that you want your team to do. Go get your own self into momentum, and then your team will scurry along right after you, right? Marissa, do you want to wrap it up with the posting and our challenge for you guys?
Yes. Okay. So, like I said, I just talked about this in my stories earlier this week, but basically the idea is like, okay, I've made the choice that this is now my new goal. Okay, I've made this choice. This is what I'm working for, and I'm committed to it. And I've also made the choice of like, who am I looking for? And so I just got really clear on what are the qualities of people that I'm looking for that will build this with me, that want this, and continuing to pour into those people on your team that have those things, and also continuing to looking for other people. Because if you're out there telling yourself that people don't want this, that's a lie. People want this. And there are people out there that prioritize this. And there are people out there that want it as bad as you. Because I used to say that to myself. I'm like, who? I just want somebody that wants this as bad as me. There's nobody out there that wants this as bad as me. I used to say that all the time when I was senior Ruby, trying to hit Emerald. Stop saying that to yourself, because you're just doing damage. There are people. And a lot of times those people aren't just found, you have to create them. And so what the challenges that we have for you guys is to get real clear on what that is, or who that is, and what they look like, and what qualities they have, and get really clear on your posting. Like, talk to exactly those people. Stop talking to everybody, and stop being like in this place of I'm going to people please and make sure that everybody is okay with the words that I'm saying in my post. It's fine if they don't. Let them. It's fine. What are they going to do? Unfollow you? Big deal. Okay. So just be clear on who you want to talk to. And then also go just engage with 30 new people. Do it tonight after this call. I'm not saying go message 30 new people. I'm saying go engage. Go find some different people in your network that you can go comment things on, that you can write in their stories, and engage with some different people in your network, or even go expand a little bit. Go like find some people through some hashtags, or like go to accounts that you like and like engage with some people in the comments. And the reason that we want you guys to do that tonight is because tomorrow, a little sneak peek on the challenge that we have going on for the Emerald Challenge, is you're going to post tomorrow about the business. So go engage with these people that you want them to see your post tomorrow about the business. And that's it. We're challenging you guys to go engage with 30 new people. And it'd be cool if you could do it before you post tomorrow. But if not, like take that challenge with you through this week.
Especially those of you, us, who say the only people who like and comment on my posts are Plexus people. That means you need to go engage with people that are not Plexus people. Like go flirt it up with all these new people, so that tomorrow when you make this amazing business post and you talk about the business in your stories, those people see it, and not, I love you guys all to death, but not all of us, right? So that is why this engagement piece is so key. Okay. We hope you took something away from this. Our biggest mission here is to share about the failure that we have experienced not by losing, but by not earning this contest, right? And to make it reality that like it doesn't feel great, right? But it doesn't define who we are. And you will watch us in the next year earn this next trip next year and bring somebody with us, because we're not gonna wallow in this mud, right? We like maybe cried a day or two, and then we're like, okay, that's great. We're not missing the next trip. And if you've ever like heard me talk about anything, like the only way for you not to become a jewel or a diamond or whatever is to stop working your business. If you continue consistently doing the things, you will get to the status that you want to be at and beyond. And it doesn't matter. Like if it takes you 10 years to be sitting next to someone and be able to show them your paycheck that you just got, and for it to say $30,000 in 1 month, who cares if that took you 10 years? Like seriously, who cares? Like it doesn't matter how long it takes you to get there, but if you quit, you will never get there. So don't quit. Don't let a failure define you, and go engage with 30 new people. Okay. That's all. Bye. Love you
Bye
guys.
guys. Thank you.